And furthermore, maybe this makes me immoral in your eyes, but I would rather burn in hell than kill my own son.
God never asked you to kill your own son.
He did. He asked
No,
one
he did
person.
not.
He asked one person.
Cliffe Knechtle faces an intense challenge as a student fires off tough questions about God, morality, eternal punishment, and even the reality of heaven itself. This heated exchange dives deep into the hardest questions of faith, justice, and what it all means. Can Cliffe hold his ground under pressure? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's get into the debate.
Who is number one? Who are you going to trust with your future? Are you going to trust your son to continue the line, the genetic line? Or are you going to trust God with your future? And Abraham made a decision to trust God. And God did not allow for that sacrifice to take place.
See, if it was me, and I had given birth to my son, who, in my opinion, is the only form of immortality I can ever hope to achieve, is passing on and living a life in my son. And if something happened to me, where I woke up in the middle of the night and some being came down and said, I need you to kill your son, I would assume I was under a misapprehension. Firstly, I would not immediately assume that it was God who created the universe that wanted me to kill my son. And furthermore, maybe this makes me immoral in your eyes, but I would rather burn in hell than kill my own son.
God never asked you to kill your own son.
He did. He asked
No,
one
he did
person.
not.
He asked one person.
It's a unique event. It is not the basis of family values. It's a unique event recorded at a time when God is teaching people about what it means to worship Him. And for the rest of the Old Testament, God communicates to the Jewish people, you are not to do what all the cultures around you do, which is child sacrifice. He communicates time and time again. Not only that, God says, I will judge you if you sacrifice your children. They disobeyed Him, they sacrificed their children, and He judged them, first at the hands of the Assyrians and then the hands of the Babylonians. So let's not go off into what ifs. Let's stick with the facts, what really happened.
All right, the facts.
The facts are they disobeyed God, they sacrificed their children, and they were swept into captivity for it. He judged them for it. That's the fact.
You're excusing God's hypocrisy on this one occasion.
No, I'm not. I have
It's just
repeatedly said to you, it was a unique event.
Right.
Please understand, it was a unique event where God is testing one man, Abraham. And He's saying, Abraham, I want you to sacrifice your son. Clearly, verse 1, Genesis 22, God tested Abraham. It was a test of one individual.
Okay. And you think, but then that's moral then? I guess
No.
my question was, does killing your son become moral? Does anything, not necessarily killing your son, if that indeed was a one-time proposition, but is doing anything God tells you to do instantly become moral because He is commanding it? For example, I'm under it. Me personally, I believe that if somehow, it's a silly proposition, I'll grant you. Somehow we were to prove, like permanently and with 100% absolute certainty, that God is not real. Let's say we were to prove that God does not exist.
Yep.
Christianity is a book of fables, nothing more.
Right.
I do not think that you would suddenly lose all of your morality and start raping and murdering people in the streets. Nor do I think, maybe you would undergo a severe crisis of faith, but I don't think that all of the morals that you currently abide by, the idea that you very passionately presented that date rape is wrong, I don't think you'd suddenly waver in that understanding if you realized God didn't exist. And so I guess what I'm saying is I think there becomes a problem if you feel the need to double check your morals off of a higher power.
It's not a question of double checking. It's a question of if you are so convinced that certain things are evil, and if you're thinking deeply, you're going to have to ask, why are those things evil? What's the basis of something being evil? Is it just my taste, my prejudice, my culture? Is it just me, the individual? Is it just a power elite have taught me? King Arthur taught me that this is evil.
Well, I guess here's my question. Because I don't believe in God, and yet I still find date rape wrong, where does that come from for me personally? Can you explain why I feel that's wrong?
Sure. Because although you don't acknowledge it, You're a human being created in the likeness of God with a conscience and a rational mind.
So here's what I want to ask. Isn't there a bit of redundancy in that assumption? That assumption that God implanted my morals on me already. I didn't have to learn about God to know that date rape is wrong, right? So why do I need to learn about him now? If he's already implanted all my morals inside my heart, why do I need to know about him? For example, why do you need to know about God if he's already given you all of your morals? If he's, like you said, given me a conscience? Whether I asked for it or not, I've got it now, according to you. So why do I need to care about God?
First point, because my conscience convicts me that at times, although I know what's good, I do the opposite, and that's why I experience guilt. I think you probably have experienced guilt maybe once or twice on your own.
More than once or twice.
Good, great. Now, Jesus Christ bled and died on a cross, he claimed, to forgive you and to forgive me. Now, if we experience guilt, the question is, how do we handle guilt? One very healthy way to handle guilt is to turn to Christ for forgiveness and to receive God's forgiveness for the wrong that you and I have done. Second point, there are very few moral absolutes. Very few. And the majority of life is lived in the gray world. If there is a God who's just, don't you think it would be wise to ask him for wisdom to make ethically responsible decisions living in a very ethically gray world?
I wanted to ask you, in the Ten Commandments, God lays down some very specific moral guidelines.
Yes.
Thou shalt not murder.
Right.
Why wasn't thou shalt not enslave your fellow man included?
I don't know.
Why is that not something that he felt, because he didn't feel the need to guide people away from murder. He didn't say you can murder people twice every year until you wean yourself off of it, you know?
Right.
Because everyone loves to murder, so just get yourself away from that little by little, like we will with slavery.
Right.
Why didn't he just say slavery's bad, I'm God, deal with it?
You bet. I don't know. And I really don't know why God hasn't sent a message to American Christians that driving Mercedes and BMWs and having 3 houses is immoral. Because we have the solution to the starvation on the world, on the planet. It's wealthy people share your wealth. I don't know why God hasn't done that. But I can promise you, sir, what you need to tell your professor or yourself or whoever's talking to you about Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers and Deuteronomy is one thing, and I'm pleading with you, and I've repeated, I'm going to tell you one more time. If you think that the Mosaic legislation for the theocracy of Israel is not different from the moral law found in Exodus 20, you're making a huge textual mistake.
So
There's a humongous difference between those 613 laws found in Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy that apply to the theocracy of Israel and the moral law of God found in Exodus 20. And if you can't learn to distinguish between Mosaic legislation and a moral absolute, we got to go back and do some more homework.
No.
Okay, I just wish that had been made more clear, I suppose, because,
So do I.
you know,
I wish I'd understand that better 25 years ago when I first spoke here.
The Inquisition
didn't. I
and
had
the
to think it
Crusades
through.
didn't seem to stop them from
Right.
misinterpreting the Bible.
That's right.
Should have been laid out a little bit clearer, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love what Mark Twain said, sir. Mark Twain said, it's not the parts of the Bible I don't understand that disturb me. It's parts of the Bible I do understand that disturb me. The Bible is all too simple and straightforward on the basics. Are there difficult textual problems? Yes. And if I think I can go around and justify my polygamy because Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines, I'm a con artist. You don't have to have a PhD in the Bible to understand polygamy ain't what God wanted us to do.
So, okay, going based off of that, how do you feel about the people who use the Bible as an argument against, say, gay marriage?
Well, I think it's real clear. The Bible clearly, consistently communicates that God created our sexuality to be enjoyed when it comes to sexual intercourse between one man and one woman till death parts us. And from Genesis to Revelation, homosexuality is communicated as a twisting of that beautiful gift that God gave us, and homosexual sex is a twisting of that gift. It's a wrong use of that gift.
Isn't that included in the same set of laws that you were just talking about?
Yes?
So how do we determine which one is for everyone? Homosexuality
You
is
answer that.
100% wrong.
You're a smart kid, now you answer that one.
When I read it through, maybe I needed to, look harder, but it seems a little muddled. Which ones? I feel like
All right.
they should have a tag.
Let me
Like,
answer
this
it
one
for
is
you.
for everyone for eternity, and this one's
Right.
just for you guys right now.
You bet. I'll answer it for you.
Okay, thanks.
If the statement that I just made in answer to the gay marriage issue was based on Leviticus chapters 21 and 22, you caught me. Good thinking. But I can promise you, my view of homosexuality has nothing to do with Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers, or Exodus. It has to do with Genesis 1 and 2. It has to do with the entire New Testament, which never once supports the gay lifestyle. Instead, it communicates the opposite, that God loves you, and by his grace, he offers you forgiveness.
I guess that's more what I was asking, because I always see Leviticus passages cited as an argument against gay marriage.
Well, then please do me a favor. Look that person in the face and say, no, wait a second. You're telling me, if I understand correctly, that the reason homosexuality is viewed by you as a sin is because of Leviticus? And wait and listen to their answer. No. Homosexuality is not a sin because in Leviticus it says it's a sin. No, it's a contradiction of Genesis 1 and 2, the creation mandate, the purpose for which God gives us our sexuality, which is outlined in Genesis 1 and 2, and then throughout the rest of the scriptures, it is communicated as the wrong use of that precious gift of sex that God has given us. Great point. Thanks, Katie. And your name is?
Brennan.
Brennan. Thanks, Brennan, for raising the issues. Any more?
Something did come to my mind when I was listening to you talk. This is totally jumping tracks.
Go.
Bear with me.
Yep.
I remember when you were talking to her about what's your name, by the way?
Katie.
Katie. Great. When you were talking to Katie about Martin Luther King Jr.
Right.
and Gandhi,
Right.
how you were sort of extolling their virtues and everything.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to sort of tackle another kind of personal problem I have, and I wanted to ask you, based on what your considerable knowledge of God's rules and commandments and accepting the Lord Jesus Christ, and that is, what is it, John 3:16? I am the way, the truth, and the life.
John 14:6.
John 14. Huh?
Mhm.
14:6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
14:6.
Right.
I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Right.
No one comes to the Father except through me.
Right.
Isn't Gandhi burning in hell right now by that verse? The person that we should all respect to some degree, and that you obviously respect.
Mhm.
Is he not wasn't he cast into the pit of fire because he didn't believe in Jesus Christ?
I do not know whether Gandhi's going to heaven or hell. I don't know where anybody's going. Why? Because I don't know what a person decides before they die.
We can, based on textual evidence, we can make reasonable assumptions, correct? You can make a reasonable assumption right now that if I were to die right now of embarrassment or shame or something, or nervousness and being on camera in front of this great crowd of people, and have not in my hardest of hearts been moved so far that I would be given the elevator downstairs and not upstairs, right? You could make that assumption. I'm pretty sure you believe that about me right now. And so can we not assume, because Gandhi said several times that while he appreciated a lot of the sorry, my mind's drawing a blank, philosophy in the Bible, that he was not a Christian, he was Hindu, and we can assume that because he was shot and killed, that he didn't have time to change his mind at the end. So we can assume he's burning in hell, right? No?
No.
Okay. But you can assume I'm burning in hell.
Nope. No. I would never want to assume that about anybody.
I know, but you have to if you believe that the only way to get to Jesus, to get to heaven, is to believe and accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. And if I'm telling you right now that I haven't done that yet, that's an assumption you can make, right? Because I know I guess the big problem I have is that I hear a lot of people say these things. You have to accept Jesus or you're gonna go to hell. That's the only way to get to heaven. And then when we ask them these questions, like, do you really think I'm gonna be tortured for eternity? They're like, oh, I cannot judge. God is the only judge of man. But you're not judging me. You're not sending me to hell. But somebody is, and you know who that someone is, and you know why.
Yeah. Do you think there are going to be people who call themselves Christians who go to hell?
You do.
Do you?
Do I? I don't believe in hell. But you believe that lots of Christians are going to hell because lots of Christians enslave people. Lots of Christians rape their wives. Lots of Christians, actually, I'm rather impressed by the amount of Christians that were in the abolition movement. but a lot of Christians enslave people. They're going to hell, according to you. The same person, right? No?
No, I don't know.
So because they accepted Jesus Christ and then enslaved tons of people, they're still in hell. I mean, heaven, right?
I do not know. Why? Sir, every follower of Christ sins. I sin. I don't know who a genuine follower of Christ is. Sir, guess what? You don't know that I'm going to heaven. Who knows? Maybe someone's paying me a ton of money to stand out here and speak. It's possible. Crazy things happen. You, my friend, have seen more than enough Christian hypocrisy. So you know that we all are capable of being incredible hypocrites. So maybe I'm a colossal hypocrite. It is possible.
Are you a false prophet?
Maybe.
God condemns false prophets. How do I know you're not a false prophet?
Exactly. It's possible.
How can I believe in anything you're saying to me right now? Because I know you're trying to change hearts and minds. I know that you want every single one of us to join you in the great vaults in the sky. I know that. I know you want us to join the theme park.
Good.
But
now let me answer quick. That's a great question, Brennan. If I was to say to Brennan and Katie, in answer to your question, why should I believe in Jesus? And I were to say, because I do. You'd be an idiot to believe in Jesus. Instead, what I'm saying is, go back and get the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Read them for yourself, separate from me. Ask yourself, does the historical evidence of the way Jesus taught, treated people, died, forgiving his enemies, and rose from the dead, does that evidence point to Christ being trustworthy, or does it not? Do not believe in Jesus, because I do. Please don't. It's a horrible reason to believe in Jesus. Horrible.
I was in a church for a long time, and I don't buy it. So I'm going to hell.
Why? You read the Gospels. What's your problem with Jesus?
I don't want to talk about my phone. Jeez, man.
Well, why did you not put your faith in him?
Why did I not put my faith in him?
You read the Gospels. I mean, come on, man. You know that if somebody lives the kind of life he lived, you got to respect the dude. If someone teaches the type of ethical teachings that he taught, I mean, Robert Coles, psychology professor at Harvard, says all the writings on ethics over the past 2,000 years are simply footnotes to the Sermon on the Mount. I mean, the guy was an ethical genius. Thirdly, if you watch him die, nailed to a crossbeam, and instead of cursing his enemies the way I would have, he prays, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And then if you see that 3 days after he dies, he rises from the dead. Guys, it's a no-brainer. The guy's trustworthy. You can believe in him. So why couldn't you believe in Jesus?
Well, actually, one of my favorite personal Christian philosophers, C.S. Lewis, disagrees with you entirely.
Okay.
He said that if Jesus, a lot of people, like for example, Thomas Jefferson, said, I don't believe Jesus was God, but I think he's a great moral teacher.
Yep.
He's ethically genius.
Right.
What C.S. Lewis said is no, that's not true. Because if he was not the true Son of God, then he was a liar and a charlatan, and he led people astray.
Exactly.
I don't believe that he's God, so while I agree with a lot of the stuff he said, I can't buy into him as a perfect manifestation of God's existence on earth. And C.S. Lewis disputes the point you made that, like, Jesus was an amazing moral teacher, because unlike, for example, Socrates, we can't prove Socrates existed either. There's no real evidence for his existence, but we can still take a lot of what he said to heart, right? But the thing with Socrates is it's not an all or one deal, you know? With Jesus, it's like we got to go all in or we're going to burn. With Socrates, it's like, well, I don't believe that he was greater, that he was superhuman, so I can take the little bits that I want, that I think are great. But with Jesus, you can't pick and choose. It's
You're
100%.
exactly right.
And so when I find little bits and pieces like you're going to hell if you don't believe in me, it's difficult to, you know.
All right, Brennan, as I listen to you, I hear hell come up time and time again. What problem do you have with hell? Give it to me. Why are you so offended by the idea of hell?
I don't believe that there should be an eternal punishment for mortal crime. I don't believe that the 80 years I'm going to spend on life gaining not a fraction of the knowledge that anyone can never achieve on life is worth any literal, never-ending eternity burning in hell. I don't believe there should be an infinite punishment for a finite crime.
Okay.
I do not buy that.
Sir, go back to the text. Read the text. Find out, where does the Bible give us a photograph of hell? Now, does Jesus and the Bible describe hell in horrible terms? Obviously,
I got
yes.
one more thing, but I'm
No question about it. But now, come on now. Why is there a hell?
I wanted to she has a question. I just wanted to get really quick. It's even less, honestly, and this may reflect poorly on myself. It's even less hell that I'm interested in. I don't want to go to heaven. I don't want the idea of living forever.
Yeah.
That really disturbs me. The idea of existing for eternity and never stopping, especially living in a place where the only descriptions thereof, or that we're supposed to be praising God on high for eternity.
That's not the only description, Brennan.
I'm gonna be
It
honest.
talks about serving God, working. I love to work. Do you?
You know, if I worked in this vale of tears for my whole life and then I get to heaven and it's just more work, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
Oh, I'm sorry that
All I'm
this
saying is
university gives
both-
you such a headache.
Both the reward and the punishment don't appeal to me, maybe is the
Good.
reason.
I love to work. I love work. And guess what? When I work with street people, I'm going to get them a job. Why? Because if you don't work, Brennan, you're going to fall apart psychologically. And if you don't believe me, just go out and examine the homeless. If they don't have a job, if they don't work, they tend to fall apart. It seems that God created us to work. And in heaven, we will be working. At heaven, we will also be relating. Guess what? I really love my wife. I really love my boys. And as weird as this might seem, Brennan, I love you. That's why I'm standing here talking with you. So, I would love to be able to talk with you and get to know you throughout eternity in heaven. Heaven is all about relationship. That's why Jesus says in John 17:3, this is eternal life, that men might know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you've sent. So heaven is all about relationship. It's all about work, creativity. You express your creativity in work. I express my creativity in work. That's good. Come on, guys. Are you really here just to make more money? Is that what you're here all about? Come on, guys. Think. Think. There's got to be more to life than just positioning yourself to make more money. Nothing wrong with money, but there's got to be more to your life and your work than just making money. You got to enjoy serving people, producing a product to help people. That is good. Work is a gift from God.